I really, really look forward to the Olympics every 4 years. It is something that I really, really enjoy, especially the track and field. In my younger days, I ran track and field. I ran it in high school. I ran it in college. It can be very hard to appreciate how fast these people are running unless you've done it yourself. Bill Murray had a quote the other day that said that every single Olympic event should have an average person participating, just for point of reference. And that is so true. These people work so hard. They are so diligent. They make it look so easy because they are so gifted and they have worked so hard for this moment. And faith is an awful lot like that. It takes training to grow and mature in our faith. Often there's a real misunderstanding about maturity that says maturity is about growing in knowledge, but there's a lot more to maturity than just growing in knowledge. Because often we say, well, who's the most mature among us? Well, that person knows the most Bible. Who can teach Bible class? Well, that's the one who's most qualified because this person knows the Bible better than anyone else. But if maturity isn't just knowledge, then what is maturity? There was a definition of maturity that I got just a few weeks ago from a man named Curtis Sargent, who you should check out. I'll put a link in the description to his ministry. It's phenomenal what God has done through this man's ministry all over the world through making disciples and planting churches and training leaders. It's just an incredible thing. But he says that there are actually 3 parts to maturity. It's the combination of increasing in knowledge, increasing in faithfulness, and increasing in sharing. That a mature disciple of Jesus Christ will have knowledge, will be attempting to be faithful to the knowledge that they have and to God, and to share what it is that they know. Now let's apply these 3 things to Olympic athletes. They clearly have knowledge. They know their sport. Let's take track. They know their race. They know their field of event. They know it inside and out. Not only do they have an understanding of the strategy of the race and how to position yourself, maybe it's really hard to win from lane 8. So run really well in the prelims so you get a middle lane so you can kind of gauge where you are within the race. Or don't, try to lead the race from out front. It's really hard to win a race from the very front position. That's why they have pacers. Don't run past the pacer. I mean, there are just things you have to know. And then there are things that you know just from experience. Like if you've never run a mile on the track, it's really hard to know what that 3rd lap is like, knowing that you got a 4th lap if you've never done that before. So athletes have to know more than just an intellectual knowledge of their race. They have an experiential knowledge. And our knowledge of God, our knowledge of the scriptures is like that too. We grow in our knowledge, not just book knowledge of just factual data of the scriptures, but we actually grow in our knowledge of the scriptures as we apply the scriptures. As we live those things out, as we go in through the race of life, the scriptures become more and more alive and better understood by us within our faith. The next is faithfulness. So as your knowledge grows, there are new things that you're called to be faithful to. Let's think about athletes again. There's more than just knowing the race. You have to run the race with consistency, with effort, with dedication, with diligence and determination. You're actively engaging yourself on a consistent basis to really improve on your event. You're growing in maturity in the event in which you specialize. And the ultimate sign of knowledge, the ultimate sign of growth and maturity is sharing. At some point, you don't just keep the knowledge to yourself. You pass this on to others. You train the people who are a little bit behind you, the people who are a little bit slower than you. You're pushing them a little faster. This is like, when we have years of just knowing the Bible, we try to be faithful to the scriptures. Now we're like teaching it to others. We're sharing it with people. We're passing on this knowledge. Now, this is how Paul talked about it in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, 24 to 27. He said, "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get that prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes through strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone just running around aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer just beating at the air. No, I strike a blow to my body, saying I discipline myself and make my body my slave so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified from this prize." Runners have to run. Knowledge isn't enough. And there is no growth or maturity unless the knowledge is applied into faithfulness. And this is the strict training that athletes go into. This is their faithfulness to their craft, their faithfulness to the sport. We have faithfulness to God and His Word. And it's purposeful. It's directed. As Paul said, it's not aimless. You don't just beat around at the air, and then when you get into a real wrestling match with another human being, you don't know how to wrestle because you were just fighting the air. You have to engage with real people. It's true of our faith. So a runner needs to know where the finish line is. This was stunning the other day. I was watching a race on YouTube, and the officials, when they hit the last lap of a race, let's say it's a 5K on the track or a steeplechase 3K or 3,200, whatever it is, when they get to their last lap, the official has a gun, and as the front runner passes the start line, the finish line, coming into the last lap, they shoot a gun, or they ring a bell, hit a gong, something that says, bong, last lap, boom, last lap. You're on your last lap. It's time to go. You got to give it everything you got. You got to hit your kick. You got to get in your stride. And they shot the gun one lap early. Now, there was a guy who was kind of in the lead, and when he heard the gun shoot, he took off. And he thought, I got this in the bag. He took off really fast. Another runner or two kind of started going out after him. Maybe they were a little confused. A few people held back. And, the guy who was in first, he didn't even make the top three. He got so burnt out. He looked so disappointed when he crossed the finish line. And I'll show that here to you on the screen. So you can see, like, as he's crossing that last lap, that you see just how devastated he was. He's got nothing left in the tank because he didn't keep in mind where the finish line was. You got to know where your finish line is. Keep track of where the end goal is. Maturity has an end goal. Knowledge has an end goal. Sharing has an end goal. It's all the same end goal. It's to be heavenward through Jesus Christ, to grow into maturity, to have a crown that will last forever. Paul, in his day around Corinth and Greece, there were the Isthmian games. And they would run and wrestle and do all these things to win a crown of leaves and sticks that they would put upon their head. It's a perishable crown. We don't fight. We don't race for a perishable crown. And, we really need encouragers. When we talk about what does it mean to share, we're really also encouraging. It can be evangelistic, but it's also very much about encouraging each other in our faith and just cheering people onto that finish line, cheering people onto that crown that will last. In my high school and college days, I loved to cheer people on when my races were done, and I would run from corner to corner and say, you've got this, just keep going. You can catch him, you can catch her. Come on, you just got to go a little faster, one more lap. You got this. And I would just run around and just cheer everybody because my races were done. My race was over for the day. I had some time and some energy. I wasn't going to wear myself out to not be able to run my race. I was done for the day. And it's like, push them to the finish line, cheer them on along the way. We need this in our faith. We need people, mature or immature, young or old, new or been around a long time, to cheer each other on toward the finish line. There's so many Christians I don't think anymore even know where the finish line is. And they think maturity is knowledge. Or maybe they think maturity is just feeling good about things. I don't know. But these are the three parts of what it means to be a mature disciple of Jesus Christ. You are growing in your knowledge. You are growing in your faithfulness. You're just trying to be faithful to Him. You're trying to obey Him, be faithful to Him. And you are sharing what you know with other people. And that is so helpful to me because for so long I viewed maturity as I just got to grow in my knowledge. And we end up with all this puffed up knowledge with very little application. And we can become very spiritually obese, very spiritually lax, spiritually lazy. And I'm seeing more and more, I've learned this, I've heard this, I'm now beginning to agree with it, that unapplied scripture, that in other words, years and years of just growing knowledge without application, can actually be highly detrimental to our faith. Because we're learning that you can read the Bible and do nothing about it. You can read the Bible as an intellectual exercise and not do anything with it, not share it with anybody, not change your behaviors, not allow it to challenge your heart, your attitudes, your mindset. That's dangerous, guys. The more we do that, it's dangerous. So we watch even dozens and dozens of YouTube videos that talk about Scripture and go to the Scriptures and read them. If it doesn't change our lives, it can be a very dangerous place to be. And that sounds weird to say reading the Bible could be dangerous, but the Bible can be a dangerous document, okay, dangerous to the way things are. So love you, appreciate you. There's some videos that are just hidden on the screen right here. I would challenge you to watch one more, hit that like button, let YouTube know, hey, this is working, so that they'll show it to more people, as more people need to hear this message. Maturity is more than knowledge. God bless you. See you soon.